Good afternoon, it's Monday, September 22nd, 2014, about 5 after 3 in the afternoon. I'm hoping this camera will pick this up. Last week I did all the work on the inside of this, and over the weekend I picked up some foam board, and with a little bit of photocopying and tape, clear tape, I was able to put this together. This has to do with places of refuge in the end time. First time I heard about places of refuge or safe areas was under David Carroll's ministry, and I believe it was when he got out of prison in 1987. I first came across his teachings in 86. Anyway, places of refuge are places where God's going to preserve the righteous. At the time, there, in the last 20 years, there hasn't really been all that much revelation concerning these safe places. And since about 1987, the Lord put in my spirit to begin working on different area formats or isometric, geometric formats for laying out, if you want to lay out 10 acres or 100 acres or even 1,000 acres as possible, by using sacred geometry as your backdrop. And I better put my timer here at 5 minutes. This is just an intro. And anyway, over the course of years, I hand drew many different size plots, 24 acres, 100 acres, and things like that. And then eventually that led to designing the structures of the buildings, which are also isometric or geometric, hexagonal in nature. Instead of building on the square, if you had time to compare building on the square to building on the building six-sided, a six-sided structure, it's going to go up quicker because it's modular. You can make it portable, and you take a square building and bury it underground, it's going to collapse. But if you take a building that's six-sided or like a honeycomb structure is very strong. If you bury that, it's not going to collapse on you. So that's the difference. Anyway, this is just an introduction to the survival pods. The survival pods is are used for basically survival in the end times. It's something that could easily be built and put onto a flat deck and shipped and brought to the end of the line wherever these places of refuge are going to be made, or they could be pre-made. You could make up the kit ready for assembly. That way you can get a lot on the transport or whatever. And in 1987 or 88, February of 1988, the angel of the Lord came to me and took me out and set me open visions. I'm not going to get into the visions right now. But in the visions, I saw the evacuation of Vancouver Island, and toward the end, just before the earthquake came. And I believe this is just this particular vision has to do with the timing just before the pole shift. And I believe we'll see the pole shift happened in the spring of 2016, and this has to do with Nibiru or Planet X. But anyway, I saw this convoy of vehicles when the lead vehicle left the east side of Surrey. By the time it got up to Chilliwack, about 70, 80 kilometers distance, the tail end was just leaving. So I saw a convoy of over 70 kilometers, at least 70 kilometers and long. And I was up in the spirit when I saw this, and the Lord took me in, and I zoomed in to the midsection of this convoy. And what I saw was 5 miles of transport trucks, and they were all rigged up with survival gear. Everything was tarped over. I didn't see and I knew that they had everything required for long-term survival. And these survival pods, they can be diversified. You can use them for shelter, you can use them for macro storage, you can use them for underground storage, in-hill storage like a root cellar. They can be modified, and they're strong. They might weigh a little bit, but they're going to do the job. And it may be that we're going to be here for some time, and we're going to have to be able to ride out the storm. Okay, well, this is Project Goshen. That's my projectgoshen.com. That's my website. The Lord blessed me with, and still have to go back to it, and I got a lot of work on it yet to bring it up to speed. My email is redlandprepper@gmail.com or projectgoshen 777@gmail.com. I think it's Goshen Project, I'm not sure, but I had trouble trying to get the website the same as the Gmail, so I think it's Goshen Project. I have to check that out. But anyway, you got my other email, remnantprepper@gmail.com. So I'm just going to open this up and I'd like some feedback on this. I know we're coming very close to the time of the 3 days of darkness. And I believe that during revival and judgment, that these places of refuge are going to go up. And God's going to chastise America and Canada and the rest of the world. But in doing so, He's going to bring the people back to Himself. Okay, so we're just going to zoom in here. And how much time do we have? Probably about 10 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. So I'm just going to zoom in. That's the survival pod. It's basically a 6-sided module. Tip to tip is about 9'4", and I've designed this one to be 102 inches wide. That's your legal roll limit. And on the bottom, it sits into a cradle. I'd like to be able to build this, making presentations and things like that. It only goes so far, but you actually need to build it. That way you know the material, you know the weight. About 8-9 years ago, I came back from a trip from the East Coast, and back to Nanaimo. I had no place to stay, and my friend let me stay in his truck, and it was winter time, and I got kind of feeling sorry for myself because I had to stay in his truck for 2 or 3 days, and I found out what it's like to be homeless. And this is where the Lord gave me these ARC units. I simply call them Action Response Centers, or the Joshua Project for the homeless. Okay, so this here is the first computer drawing that I did. See how this would turn out. This is actually a 4 foot side, 4 foot per side, or 8 feet from tip to tip. And we'll go down to here. This here is made a little more elaborate. I wanted to design this for the Olympics. Never got that far, but basically you can see, if you can use this for, you can use it for living quarters where you have a Murphy bed that pulls down, a window in the end. It gives you 2 shelving units either side, just like a camper. And all your different utilities, gray water storage, and all that's in the bottom of the cradle. Okay, this is this one is designed to be a sauna. You can see where you can walk in, and I got 2 levels of benches. So it's different things that you can do with it, and because it's point to point, all your water is going to drain down and drain out. And you can actually, everything could be self-contained. You could have your water on one side and your gray water on the other. This would be all made out of 2x6. And this is the last one I did about 2 years ago. It's made to sit inside of a hill. I'm not sure what to use for a covering, maybe some kind of torch-on material. But you can see where I designed it with the snorkel on the front. The snorkel's about 5 feet. If you go to it, if your size of your hex is 5 feet, your hexagonal is about 5 feet. The tunnel, and that goes into like a false front, and that could be 8 feet long. This could be 12. This could be 8. So you get lots of dirt. And so if you actually had this all made up ahead of time, if you had the people and the machinery, you could actually set this in place probably about 2 days. It'd be done. You'd have a structure that would get you through for root storage or some kind of shelter or whatever. I'm going to come back on a second part, give you guys time to think about this, but I really would like your feedback. Something like this, if we're actually going to make the survival pods, if you had the people, maybe a crew of maybe 6 or 7, you could probably turn one of these out per day. Okay, we're going to come back in part 2.